I was in middle school when I had my first bout with anxiety. It began when I struggled with the pressure of being on a sports team. Being constantly compared to others caused a pit in my stomach that kept rising. I was scared and uncomfortable. Soon my parents picked up on my anxiety and had me talk to a therapist. I'd walk into therapy and she would ask me, "How are you doing?" And I'd be like, "I'm great." Then a few days would pass and it would hit hard. I'd experience an anxiety attack while out with my family or an English class, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't have any guidance at that very moment. I could be completely still, and inside my body would be racing. The contradiction between being physically still and mentally speeding is terrifying. Dissolving the anxiety feels impossible. The spontaneous attacks are the worst of all because I'm blindsided and have little ability to recover. I feel separated from everyone. I can't speak, I can't listen, I can't focus. Anxiety shows up without any advanced warning. Unlike most activities in our life, anxiety does not work on a schedule. Wondering when anxiety will show up can cause even more anxiety. I had to find a way to cope. My therapist taught me to fill in the gaps because anxiety would show up on its own schedule, and I had to be prepared to deal with it. I knew I had to turn to something I enjoyed in order to cope. I loved to write. As a child, my father always influenced me to write my own story. In middle school, I wrote letters to my future self in a diary. Today, I run the feature section in our student-ran newspaper La Vista, where I interview student, staff, and alumni about their hobbies they've turned into passions, whether it is through creating a fashion brand, a business, or having a sponsorship. Everyone I have talked to has had a moment of fear or anxiety in the thought that this isn't going to work out. Anyone who sets out to live a full life will experience anxiety, no matter the age or person. They've felt this anxiety and probably still do, but they've learned to live with it. Anxiety is normal, whether it is temporary or a lifelong struggle. Most of us has dealt with it. I was not alone. Last year, for the paper, I interviewed a Miracosta alumni who just published a children's book. She talked to me about how the creativity of writing helped her feel free. She had a hard time finding her way in college, overcome with confusion and fear of failure. She could never find the right fit, switching colleges several times. Writing, she told me, was a therapeutic way to experience a release from a negative mindset. Hearing how she uses writing as a distraction and a passion really opened up my perspective about my own difficulties. I decided to experiment and use writing to help me when I experienced anxiety and depression. In the beginning, I didn't know what to write, but as the words began to flow, I began acknowledging feelings I'd been pushing down. If I experienced uneasiness, even queasiness, I'd write about it. If I felt guilty for having anxiety, I'd write about it. If I felt like everyone else was handling their anxiety way better than me, I'd write about it. Writing allowed me to look at my feelings as a third person, and just as a friend might tell you that you're being too hard on yourself or only looks like people are handling their anxiety well. Writing allowed me to look at the absurdity and the high standards I set for myself. Writing opens up my heart and relinquishes the pit in my stomach that tells me I am not good enough or I will make the wrong decision. As I write more and more, it's like exercise. Maybe I don't want to get started, but as I move the pen across the page, I feel stronger. I feel proud of myself. I feel accomplished. The actual content of what I write is less important than writing itself. I kept writing. It is powerful to me, and I see it has the power to calm me down and clear my mind. I use writing when anxiety catches me by surprise, although it is hard to diverge my mind and body from the tornadoes of feelings or the fear that has no basis in reality but feels very real, or the overwhelming insecurity that plagues my confidence. Writing has been a gift. I use writing when anxiety catches me by surprise, and writing has saved me. Have you found your antidote to anxiety? Maybe it's right under your nose waiting to Help you? Do you like to go for a run or go watch the waves crash on the ocean? Do you like to read a book or go on a walk? Writing is my outlet, my release. Next time you feel an onset of anxiety, instead of turning to self-doubt, sit with it and try to find a passion to distract yourself. Every day, take a moment and look at the people around you and the impact you have on others. There's always some problem that needs to be solved, but find a little peace in the present and the joy you bring to others. Most of all, remember to be kind to yourself and do what you love. You may surprise yourself with all you can do. Thank you.